Okay, now that we're moving right along here, we got Jimmie Johnson has joined us. Jimmie drives the number 48 Lowe's Cobalt Tool Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. Of course, he is the 5-time defending NASCAR Sprint Cup Series champion. And Jimmie comes into the third race in the 2011 chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup in 10th place in points. Jimmie, talk about third race. You're at Dover, place you get around this track pretty well. Talk about your what you want to do this weekend.
Yeah, we're excited to be at Dover. It's arguably one of our best tracks for the 48 team, and just excited to be here even from a qualifying standpoint. We all know how important qualifying is. This track has been real good to us in a lot of ways, and we could leave here with a great run, hopefully a win, and get some great momentum working for our efforts for a sixth championship, and make up a bunch of points. So excited for this weekend's opportunity.
Okay, Jimmie, we'll take questions now. Let's start with Claire, and then we'll go to Kenny.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Two quick things. One is it good that everyone is talking about you right now? Do you feel that all the drivers are being asked about you and how you're doing and what they think? And second of all, what about this track sucking you in, and do you even let that enter your mind as it pulls you into crashes here?
Yeah, I try not to focus on the negatives and thinking about crashes. They do happen here, and when you don't have the luxury of spinning out here and saving it. Although I did that on the front stretch somehow years ago in qualifying. I mean, that's one of the very, very few that ever happened. But you just focus on doing your job and going fast. And we've had very good race cars here over the years, and I'm excited to be here for that reason. Drivers talking about us. That's. It is what it is. I wish it was because we've won the first two races and had that statement out there that guys were talking about. But it's not that way, and we've got 2 races behind us and 8 to go, and still plenty of time to be a part of this championship.
Go ahead, Kenny.
Kenny Bruce with SceneDaily.com. Jimmie, have you and Chad spent any more time than normal this week discussing last week's race and what you guys hope to do in the weeks going forward?
No, I mean, it's been business as usual. We did have a function that Lowe's came to the shop, and the Lowe's execs spent some time with us congratulating the 48 team for making the chase. But outside of that, it's the same stuff. I mean, we're working as hard as we can to bring the best setup of the racetrack and our best cars, and feel very good about this weekend's race.
Let's go to Lee. Go ahead, Lee.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. Just to kind of follow up on what Kenny, asked, have you guys discussed the conversation you guys had about Chad's style of communicating, I guess would be the kindest way of putting it. And, obviously you're a little bit frustrated because you're under the heat of the battle at that point. And, have you discussed maybe a different technique or a different tact you'd like him to take in the future?
No, nothing off of this. I mean, after 10 years of working together, there are plenty of things we know about each other and a lot of discussions that have taken place. And, there hasn't been anything more than normal. I mean, when you work with someone for as long as we have, for over 10 years now, there are hot spots and buttons that can be pushed that send someone over the edge. And, we know what took place last weekend, and he knows that at times I can be frustrated with his cheerleading, and that's what I said on the radio. So it's nothing new to us. I know a lot of people are reacting to it and think that it's something abnormal, but there's a lot of other instances throughout the last 10 years where stuff like this has gone on, and during our review of races and review of things and how to be a better group, a better team, we talk about this stuff all the time. So yes, it wasn't our finest moment on Sunday, but it's what we deal with. It's been part of what we've been dealing with for 10 years. Yep.
Let's go Mike Massaro. Can we get him the mic, please?
In your opening comment, Jimmie, you talked about this being an opportunity to make up some points. This has been a very good racetrack for you over the course of your career. How critical is it to capitalize at this track right now, considering the situation you're in?
It's really important. It's not. I don't think we're in a position where it's winning win or nothing, but we need a good top 3 run here. There's still 8 races left. When we look at how well we performed at Chicago, and fuel got a hold of us there, and we should have been top 3. We ended up 10th. Last weekend, even with some of the creative radio chatter that took place, I was in position to finish probably top 10 if I didn't have that contact with the 18 car. And that was just racing stuff. So if we could take back and didn't have an 18th and had a 10th at Loudon, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation. So I don't think we're looking for the walk-off home run by any means right now. It's just finishing where we should. And at Chicago, we didn't have the fortune to finish where we should have, and that's just the way it works with fuel mileage. Last weekend was some contact on track, and then this weekend we've got to go out and finish where we should, and that's really the way I see it right now.
Sean is with the Daily Times out of Salisbury, Maryland. Jimmie, even though you find yourself in the unfamiliar position of being 29 points back, do you feel like you can draw on the experience of being the 5-time defending champion and knowing how to win a chase race?
Yeah, experience is extremely helpful and important, and we'll need to pull on seasons maybe like 2006. Where we got off to a slow start and we're able to rally back and end up on top. So we're doing all we can. I can promise you that everybody at Hendrick Motorsports is giving us all that they have. My 48 team is committed and focused on doing the best job they can, and I am as well. And we look forward to putting up a great finish this weekend.
Mike Muller.net. I find it funny that people are sort of like dismissing you right now because nobody in this chase has really done any. I mean, if you take Tony out of the equation, 2 straight wins, he's only had 4 really good weeks, maybe 5 really good weeks all season. So if you take him out of the equation right now in the championship chase, Carl Edwards looks like he's stroking. You've got 5 championships. Everybody else is like, who knows where they are. I mean, this is like a pretty weird chase, and it's pretty wide open, and to dismiss Jimmie Johnson because he's 10th on the points is pretty ludicrous, I would think, at this point.
Yeah, I think that this year has been that way. It's been really tough to have a driver or team stay on top for a long period of time. And I think a lot of drivers spoke to that with the pre-chase media, before the chase started. And if you go back to Richmond or was it Atlanta? What was before there? There was a stretch there where the 14 wasn't running well. And some of Tony's comments, and you could tell the place where they were mentally, it wasn't in a true championship mindset. Well, 2 weeks of winning can certainly turn that around. So in my point, we just don't know. And it's easy. We all want to predict now, but we can't. We have to run all 10 races. And whoever does catch fire and can stay consistent, they could have a runaway year. But I haven't seen anything to show me it's going to be a runaway year for anyone. Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked that closely at just Carl. I just know that 12 chasers, they're usually the 12 best in that year and 12 best of our sport. They're going to be in the top 10. So it's not just Carl. It's a lot of guys in the chase are going to continuously finish top 10.
Jimmie, Jeremy Elliott, Harrisburg Patriot News. You talked about how tough it is staying on top. You're in an obviously unfamiliar position here. You won it 5 times. And is there some pressure or sense of urgency? Because, let's face it, you are always one of those favorites.
We've been in this position before and have been behind. And pressure, yes. I mean, there is pressure to perform each and every week. Some from the outside, and a ton from the inside of my own head, inside of my own team. We know what we're capable of, and we've clearly done an amazing job the last 5 years, but that doesn't guarantee anything for this year. There's pressure within that point as well. So, in pro sports, including NASCAR, pressure is everywhere. And these final 10 races take that whole pressure scale and, multiply it by some crazy number. Pressure is everywhere for every team.
Joe Menzer, NASCAR.com. Jimmie, how much has Keselowski surprised you this year, and how much of a different driver do you think he is now than when he first burst onto the scene?
He certainly has surprised me, and I think that I'm looking at more of a whole team resurgence than just Brad. I mean, when with Brad's success and nationwide and kind of the progression we've seen of Brad, we've watched him on Saturday's race with the Cup guys and be toe-to-toe with them. As the year has developed, Penske has really come around with both cars and been very, very strong. And then to see the growth between he and Paul and how they're working together. So I look at everything related to the two-car and Penske and say those guys have done an awesome job all year long, and I'm impressed on all fronts with what they've done.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Is there this is not the position you want to be in, but is there a part of you that reaches within yourself and says you can see what you have now, that as an athlete and as a team, knowing the position you're in, you've got to find something within you, see how strong you are? I mean, is there a part of you that's sort of reaching deeper than you've ever reached?
To keep this streak alive, to stay on top, as we hope to do, you have to continue to find new ways to do it. I look back at the first championship and how important that was, and how much pressure there was on me to win that. I look back at that as the toughest year and digging the deepest. But I don't want to sell short anything that's happened between then and now, and we're working as hard as we can once again to win a championship. So, year one to me has the, I had more weight on my shoulders then, I guess I could say. This year it's still pretty early. We don't know what that's going to be, and I certainly feel that I can be a part of this championship battle in a couple weeks if we go out and do what we know we can do. So I guess maybe this year I can't give you my answer yet. It's too early in the chase. But looking back, I'd still put it all on year one.
Any other questions for Jimmie? All right, Jimmie, thanks. Good luck this weekend.